Hey, I'm Jalen Weathers from Ourlads, and today I'm thrilled to usher in a groundbreaking discussion for both Ourlads and the sports world at large: the rising impact of AI on sports betting. AI's transformative power has swept through every sector, making no exception for sports. So if you haven't caught the buzz yet, it's honestly time to tune in. In the inaugural video of our AI series, we're diving deep into the basics, unpacking what AI really means, and demystifying some of the key terms you've likely heard tossed around, especially how they relate to the sports arena. So stay right here with us. Our mission is to enlighten and engage, inviting everyone to this exciting dialogue. So your thoughts, comments, or questions, we welcome them all. So let's dive straight in. And I have the pleasure of introducing Howell Godfrey from Anansi Analytics. Now, this is a company that focuses on business intelligence along with data solutions. So our labs have decided to team up with Howell and Anansi Analytics to give you guys a new sense of a football AI model. Howell's last season model did predict a 70% accuracy rate of high confidence games, along with an overall 61% accuracy rate of the 2023 regular season and the 2023 postseason of the NFL. The first question I got for you today, man, is what is AI specifically and ML in sports?
When it comes to AI, artificial intelligence, it's like a smart robot that can do things that humans can also do, but it just does it at a higher level. So what it does is able to look at a bunch of different variables for a football game and come to a consensus on who's going to be or who it predicts to be the winner.
What is a variable then? Like how does that play a role into this?
Variables are pretty much anything in the game or anything before the game or during the game that can change, such as players, injuries, lineups, weather conditions, things like that. It's just like even just like when you watch a movie or you read a comic book where there's a twist or a turn that you didn't see coming that had a dramatic effect on how you saw the ending of that.
Okay, so what about an algorithm then? What like how does that play a role into everything?
So algorithm is just really just like a step-by-step set of instructions. Just like if you were a baker and you were making a cake, you have a recipe on how you make that cake. And so an algorithm is very much the same, where it takes these instructions, takes these data points, and is able to construct an output of some kind, which we call a prediction.
How does that, I guess, predict a real outcome?
So a prediction, in layman's terms, is just a highly educated guess, so highly analyzed guess. Um, it's just once again taking account those different variables, and even some variables have different weights. So some variables are more important than other variables. So it takes into account all those different variables and data points, and also comparison on how the system has performed before to come to these predictions.
So with this, then I know power rankings also play a role into this. So what is a power ranking?
Power rankings, if you think of it as like a power level of superheroes and their abilities and things like that. So a power ranking is just a concise number on how strong or how good a team is. And we can even look at KC's passing game or San Francisco's running game. They both have high power rankings due to their strength in these particular attributes.
So in terms of like with these power rankings, now you like when you have the outcomes, how do these outcomes change the rankings?
So at the end of the game, points or power is transferred from the from the loser of the game to the winner of the game. And how many points or how much power is transferred is dependent on if the predicted winner of the game won and the point spread between the winner of the game between the winner and the loser.
So with that, then what happens when the underdog actually wins, and how does that affect the system?
So when the underdog wins, the underdog gets more points than they would have gotten if they were predicted to win. And the reason that is because it's a shock to the system because the system didn't expect them to win. So when the underdog does win, it's a self-correcting type of measure.
Could you just explain what are the limitations of AI?
So AI has a lot of limitations, but in the context of sports and things like that, AI can't take into context of the game. AI cannot take into account the chemistry of a team, the effect a coach has on the team, even pregame speeches, motivation, things like that are very human and emotional. AI cannot account for.
Can you explain then how your team updates the AI model with new data, like changes within like the team's lineup and so forth? Like how do these updates affect predictions?
So the model is what we say consistently running. But as things change and we feed new data or updated data into the model, that's when those attributes and will change. And like I said before, there's different weighted variables. So some variables are more important than others, such as like the quarterback position. If we have, if we predicting just like this last year with Joe Burrow, where we were predicting Joe Burrow, to be starting games, he got hurt. That changed the power ranking of the Bengals because he didn't play those games.
What makes AI valuable in sports analytics then?
Well, AI is actually valuable across everything, across multiple industries. Because even as we use AI in sports analytics and we create these predictions and things like that, as we make breakthroughs, those same principles and mechanics can then be shared amongst the greater AI community and vice versa. As they make breakthroughs, we can then incorporate that into the algorithms and the mechanics that we use.
How do you see human expertise working with AI predictions?
I think it's always going to have to be a collaboration. We haven't invented a robot that can play football, so there's always going to be there's always going to be a sense of the human. Well, there's always going to be a piece of the human element, because even for myself, I play sports, so I use my knowledge of the sport that I played to influence the model and to teach it. Okay, this is what this means. This is what a yard is. This is what even going back to that weighted variables, how much more important is getting a 1st and 10 after you just got a first down, or on the third down or whatever case is, because the AI doesn't know how to account for that unless you have a human counterpart telling it these are the important parts.
What would you say are the crucial data points that AI considers that often humans overlook?
I would say consistency. So even when we look at football teams, when we look at sports teams in general, as humans, we tend to kind of get focused on the last couple games, the last couple weeks, or maybe like the last month or so of that team's performance. But AI looks at the holistic picture of that team's performance. So like even for our model, it includes the last 5 years of a team's performance. So we can have better data points and a better view on how that team is actually performing. Case in point, a team might just slump in the middle of the season, but always bounce back, right? That's the thing that AI can see that humans will probably overlook.
And then, so how can you tell then if an AI model is actually flawed?
So what we do is we actually run multiple models at the same time, and we monitor their results. So each model is going. So we have what we call our main model, which is just like it sounds, our main model that we use, right? But then we also have different models that are all different, slightly different in some way. Some may weigh variables in different ways. Some may take one thing differently into an account. And so we monitor how those models are doing. And so whichever model does the best at the end of the season actually becomes the new model for the following season. And if we have a model that's really just outpacing all the other models, we might make a decision to make that our main model, just because it's just more accurate.
So where do you see AI in sports heading?
So yeah, that's a great question. So I would say I think the future of AI is very bright. Like as I said before, the AI community is very collaborative and shares a lot of information and discoveries. And I think because of that collaboration, I think that's the reason AI has grown so quickly in the last couple of years. But I think that's also why it will continue to grow. I think so far as technology having a big impact, I would have to say it's machine learning right now. Um it that is once again kind of going back, it's learning how humans think, how humans behave, and trying to apply that to a greater AI set. So that's the hotness right now, and it's having a major impact across the board.